in each and every play like I explained before, then we'll be fine. We'll get this thing rolling. So just detailed and staying focused throughout the entirety of the game.
You mentioned the big guys up front. Troy obviously has had his first start going into his second one. He'll have a big challenge with either Mac or Bosa. Just how do you feel like he's kind of stepped up to the challenge? And after watching film, how do you feel like he did in that first game?
I think he did good. First game back, real live action. So I think he did great, and I'm excited to see what he does this weekend versus two premier pass rushers. So yeah.
So how much of a step up is that to go? I mean, obviously every team has NFL caliber players, but to go from that to now Bosa and Mac, just what?
I just think they have two different styles. I think last week there were more speed rushers rushing upfield with speed, and this week probably gonna have to deal with a little bit more bull rush, and Bosa has a pretty solid spin move too as well. So yeah, just gonna have to maneuver that. But yeah.
Two games in, your teammates have both all said that they feel like the dam's about to break. Do you feel in a similar way that you guys are on the verge of being able to just put up a lot of points in the game?
Yeah, I think so, and that just continues to go back to the point of we're shooting ourselves in the foot at the end of the day. Drives are not stopping because the defense is stopping us. It's stopping because we're stopping ourselves at the end of the day. So if we clean up everything, we'll be fine.
Brian, two games in, and now with the home opener coming up, just what's it been like for you to have this kind of career reset with a new fan base, kind of new expectation to be taking a step back? I don't want to think about that so far.
A little bit. I think it's definitely a blessing being here. It's kind of bittersweet when I first got here, but I was happy to come to an organization like this, and I couldn't even be more happier now. So I'm just glad I get the opportunity to go out there Sunday and lead my teammates onto the field, and hope to come out with a
win. Are you more ready for the expectations this time around with the new team than you did maybe as a rookie?
What do you mean by that?
Just embracing everything that comes with the quarterback position and doing it week in and week out at this level.
I feel like I embraced it before, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm kind of understanding your question, but I think I, embraced it, my first go around too.
You mentioned things feeling bittersweet when you first got here. Does it still feel that way, or how long did it take for those feelings to kind of about the situation?
Not really. I'm happy to be here now. But everybody goes through life, planning, something to happen one way and then it goes another way, but God has his own plans, and I'm just here to kind of go with it and kind of do his will. So like I said, I'm happy to be here and happy to be a part of this team.
Justin, there were some plays it looked like where the Broncos were using like half of the field was man coverage, half of the field was zone, at least just kind of looking at the film. When something like that happens and defenses are trying to put things, what are the keys that you have to read to figure out when that's happening and how to attack?
I think the biggest thing is body language. We knew that they were going to match the weak side sometimes in terms of, playing zone in the field and, matching the weak side, the boundary guys. So I think body language and kind of watching film beforehand. So it's something that we expected earlier in the week.
Justin, when you have a kicker that is accurate as Boz, and he's just one of a number of kickers in the NFL this season that have been hitting from beyond 50, how does that maybe change the offensive approach or maybe give you peace of mind as a quarterback that his range is so long?
I don't think it changes the offensive approach. I think, anytime you're in the field, you want to score a touchdown. But I think when you do get in that area to where, you're in field goal range, that you don't want to, take a negative play or take a sack to get out of field goal range. And that's where a lot of teams tend to bring pressure and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing is just being smart in those areas, knowing that, Boz is really good from, out deep, and he can knock those kicks down to where, there's no reason to take a negative play or a sack and make that kick even farther for him.
Steelers quarterback Justin Fields catching up with the media on Thursday following practice. Just hearing him talk about the conservative offense and having those two great running backs and the good O-line, we're getting more of the same on Sunday. And he did the thing again. He did this last week where he's like, I don't want to give too much of the game plan away. Yeah, I don't want to tip any hands or anything. Justin, they know. They know you're going to run the football a hell of a whole lot. And it's just going to be more of treating Fields like the backup. Don't turn the ball over. He has 0 turnover-worthy plays through the first 2 weeks of the season. That's not going to continue, but keep riding that hot hand, if you will. Keep protecting him from turning it over, because you'll be able to squeak out win after win after win. Well, until you can't anymore. And look, I'm fine with treating Justin Fields like the backup. That's totally cool with me. Because I'm still Team Russ. I still think that the second he's healthy, I need him in there. I was upset that the vibes this week, I said this on Tuesday's show, or maybe Wednesday's show. I was upset that the vibes weren't more towards Fields did a great job in getting us to 2-0, but now the Chargers coming into town. They're 2-0 too. They can score some points. We need Russ back. Get healthy, calf. We need you. Let's do a seance for Russ's calf. None of that, though. It was just Fields is great. Let's roll with Fields, and Fields will win because he's won. 2-0. I just still think the ceiling this season is higher with Russell Wilson. I think Russ will be able to put the ball in the end zone. That's what he does. He throws touchdown passes. He threw 26 touchdown passes for Denver last year, for God's sake. But we refuse to see Fields through that backup prism. We continue to look at him as if he is QB1 and he is winning the quarterback one job. And I think you got to really stretch to make that the reality that you're seeing. Because I'm just not seeing it. And your argument against me, I guarantee it will be pointing towards plays that didn't even count. You'll be pointing towards plays that, well, they should have counted. They didn't. Until I see some plays that actually count, that actually result in points on the board, I'm not going to believe it. Need to see it first. Well, speaking of Russ, he also talked yesterday to the media, Thursday. Let's hear Russ updating his status and how that calf is treating him.
Yeah, I'm definitely gaining ground. I feel good. I was able to do a lot more work today, yesterday, so getting better every day.
Do you feel like you're being even more cautious with the calf, just knowing last time felt like you were close to coming back and then you have that setback?
Yeah, we're just trying to be smart. I'm listening to the doctors, and we're all working together just to make sure that I'm ready to go fully and get back out there soon.
Medically right now, Russ, are you on board with this prognosis and diagnosis? Are you feeling like this is right for you right now to keep waiting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing everything I can, physically every day, every morning, every night, just to make sure that I can be ready to go, and we'll know when I'm ready, and I'm getting close.
How do you show progress? Is it a matter of the muscle itself loosening up, or how are you tracking its healing?
We have a whole plan. We're following the plan. I want to get into the details of the plan, but we're following that, and I think I got a lot of work in today, which was great. So that was a really good thing.
Was it disappointing at all to go back to Denver and not get a chance to play?
No, what was exciting more than anything else was us winning, finding a way to win the game. It was a good game. Obviously, we pulled through. I think the most important thing too was just seeing us rally together. That was really cool, and also I think it was cool to see some former teammates and some of my closest friends in the world. Obviously, guys like Cortland Sutton, he means the world to me. And guys like Garrett Bowles, Julian McLaughlin, other guys as well. So Javonte Williams. So. I just think that it was cool to see some people that I obviously had built some amazing, cool relationships, guys like Ray Jackson and many more.
Is that the first time you've ever gotten a petty game ball after a game?
Yeah, I think so.
Are there things that Justin does in this offense that you take notes on? You're like, hey, I want to incorporate that into my game.
Sorry, one more time.
Are there things that Justin does in this offense while he's been out there that you take notes on? You're like, hey, that's impressive. That's something that I can add. When I'm getting ready.
No, I think Justin does everything well. He's a talented athlete. He's a guy who's smart, works hard. We spend a lot of time together. Just all the time we get to spend together, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help him and us win these games. It's about the team and us winning right now, and us finding ways to win. Obviously, in the Atlanta game, it was a close game. We were able to win that close, tight game. This past game too, as well, as a close one, and I just think every win counts and everything that we do. So, one thing else is that I just love the work, and he loves the work, and we both do. We've spent a lot of time together for sure.
Russ, is there any concern that the longer you're inactive, the depth chart could change?
No, I'm just focused on me every day. I just focus on me being fully healthy, and I have full confidence in our football team, and that's really what really matters to me.
From week 1 to week 2, where did you see the offense improve the most from your perspective?
Well, I thought we played a little cleaner. I thought that we did a good job of playing a little cleaner. We only had that one, snap situation. I think we had one offsides, I believe. We could have done a little bit better on some of the penalties too, but just from pre-snap whole situation, I thought we did a good job of that. And I think, especially in a tough environment, I thought we handled it well as an offense. It was cool for us to get in the end zone. Obviously, Darnell making his first touchdown, the salute for his brother and everything else. That was cool to see, man. I remember my first touchdown throw. I threw it to Sidney Rice, and and I was telling Darnell he's got a lot more coming his way. So, in terms of touchdowns, so just when you think about it, those are the moments you cherish, and those are the moments you all do that together. And at the end of the day, to be able to win is everything. So that's the part that we all care about with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Russell Wilson saying all the right things, being the perfect professional because he just is the perfect professional. The guy's borderline Hall of Fame, knocking on the door to Canton. He might be in Canton for all I know already, but it sounds like he's trending in the right direction. Sounds like he's keeping a good attitude, remaining positive, listening to the professionals, listening to the staff, the rehab facility, the rehab staff, down at the facility, the doctors at the facility, and things are trending in the right direction. I just wish Steelers fans, again, I'll say it. You're probably sick of me saying it. You're probably wishing I just go to break, and I'm going to in a second. Don't worry. I wish there was a little bit more hope that he'd be back. I wish there was a little bit more desperation that you need, Russ. Hell, maybe that desperation comes this weekend when you're going up against the LA Chargers, a team, again, that I think can score some points. I think that you might struggle with a little bit if you want to just get into this rock fight. All it takes is Herbert finishing off a drive or two, and it might be insurmountable the way that this Steelers offense is playing. Now, of course, the Steelers defense has a big say in things, and they'll be able to do a lot of heavy lifting. And I'm probably living in my fears a little bit too much with how good Justin Herbert is and how great he was against the Steelers. Granted, that was a few years ago, but still, like almost 500 total yards of offense just from Mr. Herbert himself, 3 touchdowns. So I'm nervous about it. Steelers defense is a great kryptonite, though. Steelers defense is a great antidote for an offense that might be able to score some points, especially when that quarterback is banged up. Man, as long as they can just hold the running game at bay, then I think you might be able to win ugly against this Chargers team. But if it's not this week, it's going to be the next one. Or when Dallas comes to town on Sunday Night Football, it's for sure going to be a game. You just got to open things up offensively. You got to score some points. I haven't seen him play in a Steelers uniform other than those preseason games. One bad outing, one good outing. But I just trust Russell Wilson still more than I trust Justin Fields to be able to put up some points. I've seen it in his career. I've seen that track record in his career. Team Russ, still. Need to see Fields put up the stats to sway me on that. And until I do, I'm going to be firmly planted in that Russell Wilson camp. He unlocks the best version, I believe, of the 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I don't know how you could think Justin Fields does in just that short 2-game sample size in which he threw 1 touchdown pass, ran the ball okay against Atlanta, didn't really run the ball at all against Denver. For him, I should say. And the offense just didn't score. 18 points against Atlanta, 13 points against Denver. That should make you want to turn over the Russell Wilson stone. That should make you want to explore what's underneath that. But instead, I just get the sense that a lot of people are just rolling with Justin Fields, and what he's been doing so far is A-okay. And I know that this now comes off as me kind of bashing Fields, and I'm not. He's been perfect. He's been exactly what you ask of him. Don't turn the ball over. Be smart. You aren't really smart in your career in Chicago. You turn the ball over a lot. Don't do that here. And he hasn't so far. He's also getting rid of the ball quicker. That's a huge improvement so far from his big problems in Chicago. He would get sacked because he would just hold on, play patty cake. Pat, 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 pat. Pat the football. He's releasing the ball a lot faster this year, for the most part. You hope those bad Chicago tendencies don't creep back into his game, but they will eventually. He's not just going to be a perfect quarterback from now on. So I don't mean to sound like I'm bashing the guy. Like, he's done the job. He's got 2 wins. They're in first place in the AFC North. The season didn't start off as a disaster because your starting quarterback's calf's injured. You avoided that. But you also didn't do anything to just make me want to give you the reins without seeing what Russ can do at least. Now, this week is another opportunity for him to go out there and do that. But again, if we see another 14 for 20, 140-yard, 1 touchdown, no interception, 8 carry, 42-yard performance from Justin Fields, Steelers win 16-13. I'm not going to change my tune and all of a sudden be like, well, Fields should be the guy now. I would still say you got to see what Russ can bring to the table. And I think the team will still see what Russ can bring to the table. Just got to get that calf healthy first. Protecting the quarterback is going to be a big deal in this game, making sure that Fields stays upright, making sure that he has time to throw, making sure he has time to run if he has to. Tough task for the tackles against Bosa and Mack. We'll get into that matchup, the Steelers' offensive line, when we come back in the next segment. And I will also give you my big ballers for this game against the LA Chargers. That's on the way. Tom Opferman riding solo today on the Steelers Standard on the Steelers Audio Network.
Why does Pennsylvania need the U.S. Steel-Nippon merger? It protects thousands of union jobs. Nippon is committed to a nearly $3 billion upgrade of U.S. Steel's union-represented mills, including $1 billion to upgrade 86-year-old equipment in the Mon Valley. Nippon's cutting-edge technology to decarbonize the blast furnaces will make the Mon Valley's air cleaner, and it will help U.S. Steel reach its goal of being net zero emissions by 2050. All of this will increase U.S. Steel's competitiveness worldwide, and the merger also protects 1,000 headquarters jobs and keeps U.S. Steel in Pittsburgh, where it has been for nearly 125 years. Protecting jobs, modernizing steelmaking, and increasing competitiveness. Pennsylvania needs the U.S. Steel-Nippon merger so we can keep steel in the Steel City. Paid for by U.S. Steel.
It's Greg Wolfley from my friends at Clearview Federal Credit Union. The Clearview team is here to help you score your financial goals and support our community. Clearview is always upping their game for those in need. Through Touchdowns for Hope, these pros will donate $500 to the Light of Life Rescue Mission for every black and gold touchdown scored this season. Now that's what makes a real winning team. Visit clearviewfcu.org/touchdown to learn more and open an account today. That's clearviewfcu.org/touchdown.
Well, the offensive line has certainly been a topic of conversation this week. Broderick Jones, of course, getting benched in the game against Denver for those 3 penalties in just 1 drive. Was doing a bit of a rotation thing with Troy Fautanu when it came to the offensive line, and the rotation thing only lasted that 1 series, and then Broderick got benched. We'll get to Broderick in a second, but it's Dan Moore, it's Troy Fautanu now as your 2 tackles, your left tackle and your right tackle. Fautanu on the right, Dan Moore. Of course, Dan Moore on the left. He can't play anywhere else but the left. Dan Moore having a good start to the season. Even PFF has been grading Dan Moore favorably to start this season. Makes me think the apocalypse is upon us, but it's been a good start. Anybody you ask says Dan Moore been bringing it this year, more so than he has in previous years. So, big test for him this week. Khalil Mack and that Chargers pass rush is serious. And I say Khalil Mack because that's who Danny will be getting for the most part. And then on the other side, you got Joey Bosa going up against Troy Fautanu. So the rookie, who by all accounts played really well in his first start as a Pittsburgh Steeler, his first start in the NFL last week against Denver, he's going to get another big test against Joey Bosa. When Bosa goes out, the Chargers like to flip Mack over to that side. They all prefer, I heard, to rush over the right side. So Bosa kind of gets priority. Mack goes to the left side. Whenever Bosa goes out, needs a blow, Mack will then shift over and rush over Fautanu. So it's going to be a big day for both of those guys. Kind of a prove it kind of game, if you will. I know that's weird to say for a guy like Dan Moore who's been in the league for so many years already and been a starter for this team for so many years already. But hear me out on this. You kind of prove it in the sense of, okay, good start to the season so far. Maybe you are our best tackle. You are our best option at left tackle. But my question is, now that you see this step up in competition with Khalil Mack, is that play going to really continue, or will you take a step back? Will you be a little bit overwhelmed by Khalil Mack and this Chargers pass rush? I hope that's not the case, but it's a big test for Dan Moore and this start to the season. Hopefully he continues that stellar level of play. And then Troy Fautanu, man, welcome to the fire, Rook. You know, Denver didn't really have the best pass rushers last week. Joey Bosa is going to be a bear to handle all game long. And for the little bit of time that it's not Joey Bosa during the game, it's Khalil Mack. So a big spotlight on the rookie Fautanu. I'm sure Arthur Smith is going to do a lot to help out probably both of these tackles. I mean, that's why you got Darnell Washington. That's why you got a guy named like Mikael Pruitt. You know, lots of tight ends that can block for Mr. Arthur Smith and his offense. So I expect to see them use a lot of helpers when it comes to neutralizing that pass rush, because that's the real problem with that Chargers defense, I think. That's the thing that I think can really break this game in the favor of the LA Chargers is that pass rush. I don't see much else defensively. I know there's name value. Derwin James is a great safety, but we'll just avoid the middle of the field, right? Remember what Arthur Smith said? Don't let Jason Bourne wreck your game. There's a few Jason Bournes out there, though. And, a couple John Wicks, too. And those pass rushers are the John Wicks. I'm worried about them above all else. They'll avoid Derwin James. They've shown me through 2 weeks they're very good at avoiding problems, at avoiding other teams' great players. So I am not too worried about them and getting around Derwin. He's a great player. He still might make a play, but those tackles holding up against those pass rushers, the offensive game plan holding up against those pass rushers, that's where the worries are at for me. And that's where I think the biggest key matchup of this game is going to be won. And that's for both sides of the ball. Biggest key matchup being the tackles versus the pass rush. Both teams boast great pass rushes. One team boasts great tackles. We like our tackles in Pittsburgh. Fautanu could be a great tackle. It's too early to tell on that. And Dan Moore, look, despite the good start, I'm not crowning him just yet. I like how Broderick Jones has been responding to his benching and the fallout this past week since being benched. Had a good expletive-laced quote in the media session Thursday in the locker room. Has said all of the right things and has since being drafted, to be honest with you, last year too, but just has a total keep my head on straight, got to do what's best for the team, be ready when my number's called mentality. And God, that is such a tough thing for a young player who has been nothing but a stud everywhere he goes to Georgia and starts for a national championship team as a baby, basically. Comes to the Steelers as a young player and starts his rookie year after a few weeks at right tackle, not his strong position, and does really well, especially against the run. To now be served that slice of humble pie and to take it like he has and wash it down with that milk like he has, it's very commendable. I think Broderick Jones has a lot brighter days ahead of him. Still a blue chip prospect in my mind. And I think that you're going to see Broderick have a big game this year at some point. They're going to need to call on him, and he is going to deliver. But this week, I know Zach Frazier is going to deliver on that offensive line. He has been a stud, just a mauler. It's exciting now on Mondays and Tuesdays to watch film breakdown of Zach Frazier, just to watch him abuse these defensive players. Need better from James Daniels on the offensive line, too. He was certainly the weakest link last week. That cannot be the case this week. Need James to step up. Before we end this hour, it's time. Get my prediction cap on. Who are going to be the big ballers for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Los Angeles Chargers? We start with our big ballers on offense. Give me Jaylen Warren. I want Jaylen Warren as my first big baller because I think you're going to get a healthy dosage of Naj. I think that you're going to run the ball a lot. I think Fields might run the ball a decent amount in this game. But I think Jalen's going to break that big one. I think he's got a home run in him, and I think that home run comes this week. Haven't seen that burst out of Jalen so far. Maybe the hammy's bothering him. Not this week, though. Jaylen Warren with a big-time play to earn himself my big baller. Yeah! Elsewhere on offense, I'm doing it again, the third straight week. I think this is just wishful thinking, but my second offensive big baller is going to be Pat Freiermuth. Playa. Need Pat to eat. Get him the ball in the middle of the field. Derwin James is there. He's probably not going to use the middle of the field. That was probably a bad big baller. But I need Pat. I need him to be more involved in the passing game. I need some big statistics from him. This 4 for 40 stuff that he's kind of getting into a rhythm with in the first 2 games, 4 catches, 40 yards, not good enough. Need more out of Pat Freiermuth. On the defensive side of the ball, big ballers. Yeah! I got Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen has been probably the target of most criticism when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. That ends against the Chargers. Give me a forced fumble. Give me a fumble recovery. Pick off Herbert. Sack Herbert. I don't care. Big tackle for loss. Whatever. The lowlights turn to highlights this week for Patrick Queen. He is going to make a splash in this game. He's going to be a big baller. Yeah! And I go with the captain. Captain Cam is my last big baller on the Friday before the Chargers. Cam Hayward's got to help control that line of scrimmage, stopping J.K. Dobbins, stopping that running attack. It's the biggest key for the Pittsburgh Steelers to have success in this game. If you don't, T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are basically taken out of the equation. So Cam Hayward, you are my last big baller. Yeah! When we come back, we're going to actually hear from my 2 big ballers on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah! Cam Hayward and Patrick Queen. Going to talk about Patrick Queen and his disappointing start to his Steelers tenure, how he's going to bounce back. And then when you hear from Captain Cam, or when Captain Cam speaks to the media, it's always smart to play that audio back. So a lot more to get to. Got a Fireside Friday next hour as well, looking over the NFL schedule and making our picks for the week. Exciting times ahead on the Steelers Standard on the Steelers Audio Network.
Your home for the Steelers. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
Dad, I'm broke.
Hey, broke, I'm Dad.
Dad!
Don't you have cash saved from babysitting?
No, I spent it. I want my own bank account from S&T Bank. They offer free ATMs, online and mobile banking, and an annual scholarship opportunity. See, I'm responsible.
Hey, responsible, I'm Dad.
Visit your local branch or stbank.com for details. Again, that's stbank.com. Member FDIC.
I'm Jamie Bordas. At Bordas & Bordas, we're a proud partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? We understand and share many of the same Pittsburgh values: toughness, hard work, dedication. At the end of the day, the people who count on us care about one thing: results. That drives us, and it's why we win.
Bordas & Bordas, fighting for justice.
Wolf here for Caliente Pizza and Draft House's new Pro Football Special. A delicious 2-topping tavern-style pizza for just $22. Perfect for game days with a thin, crispy crust and top-notch ingredients. Try Caliente's new Pro Football Special Tavern Pie today. Caliente, the pizza of champions.
Quite a large game at Acrisure Stadium this Sunday for the Steelers home opener. 2-0 Chargers, 2-0 Steelers doing battle. The winner gets admittance to the 75% club. Teams that start 3-0 in the NFL go to the playoffs 75% of the time. So we got some big-time stakes early in the season against a good football team in the LA Chargers. Hopefully the Steelers get to 3-0, get to that 75% odd in their favor to make the playoffs and continue to keep that lead on the AFC North. Such an underrated part to the start of this season is that early lead that the Steelers have on the rest of the AFC North, and particularly the Baltimoreans and the Cincinnati Bengals being 2 games up on them. 2 teams that I think are way better than the Cleveland Browns and are much more competition for the Steelers when it comes to that division. You got to love the start that the Steelers are off to. But one player that people might not be so in love with to his start as a Steeler is Patrick Queen. And I mentioned in the open of the first hour that Queen's been targeted criticism for the defense, and maybe that's simply just because there's nobody else to criticize. The defense has been elite. They have been probably, I know the statistics lean towards other teams in certain categories. The Chargers have only allowed 13 points total. That's damn impressive. The Steelers have only allowed 16 points total, though. That's leading the league through 2 weeks. In most seasons, the Chargers just very, very impressive to their start of the season. But I think just, passing the eye test, statistics are there as well. It's the best defense in football to start the 2024 season. It is truly elite. That speed is such a different factor for them now. Takes them to a whole nother level, I believe. So, I just think that overall you have to be completely pleased with the defense. But, you want to be critical too. You want to see where the weak link is, just how strong the defense is. And I think Queen has just unfortunately been a target of that early in his tenure. He's had the lowlights for sure. Missed tackles, maybe taking a bad angle on a player. And that helps feed into the narrative of what we're talking about right now, where he's been, I don't want to call him a weak link, but he has been less than what you expected out of him. When you sign him to that big free agency deal, you hope he hits the ground running, and he has not so far. But I think the highlights are coming. I think the splash is coming. Look, you got to remember, this is a bit of a new role for him. Now, he had this role initially in Baltimore when he was drafted by the Ravens in the first round, but then you go get Roquan Smith, you don't have to wear the green dot anymore. You don't have to be the guy anymore. You can be Robin to Batman. Patrick Queen just happened to be a damn good Robin, a second-team all-pro level Robin, next to Roquan Smith. So now he comes to Pittsburgh. He's got to take a little bit more onto his plate now. He's got to be that green dot guy. He's got to be, for lack of a better comparison, just because he's a former Raven, the Ray Lewis of that defense in the middle, the farrier here, if you want to keep it in Pittsburgh. You've got to give him a little bit of time, I think, to get back up to speed when it comes to real game action at that role. And I think he'll be fine. And, you go and watch Baltimore games. You look at Roquan Smith. He's not exactly adjusting to life without his former running mate, Patrick Queen, smoothly. This isn't exactly like easy does it for Roquan Smith either. He had a pretty tough game in week 1 for the Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs. It wasn't exactly glorious in week 2 against the Raiders either. He's adjusting as well. He's got a new Robin. He's got a new running mate. That was a very happy marriage. They couldn't afford to pay everybody. Queen was the odd man out. They get divorced. And now Roquan and Patrick are singles looking for a partner. And I think they got good ones, especially here in Pittsburgh. I think Roberts and Peyton Wilson, I think, are damn good running mates for Patrick Queen. Just give it a little bit of time. Like Roquan in Baltimore, he's adjusting to a new running mate. He's adjusting to a new inside linebacking tandem in Baltimore. Pittsburgh as well, Patrick Queen is adjusting to being the guy. Being green dot, being undisputed inside linebacker number 1. And he'll get it. He'll be fine. Again, I like I said, I predicted in my last segment, he was one of my big ballers on defense, that he's going to have a huge game. There's going to be splash in this game from Patrick Queen. We're going to see a big hit. We're going to see a forced fumble, something of that nature. I have confidence in him to snap out of this. I don't even want to call it a funk. I just think that expectations were so high and he hasn't come close to meeting them, so it looks like he's underperforming massively, when I really just don't think that's the case. Matt Williamson said to me earlier this week, either on Countdown to Kickoff or the Advanced Scout and show we do together on the Steelers Audio Network, he said one thing about Queen that is missing is that thump. that physicality to Patrick Queen's game. It's been lacking so far, and well, I think this is just a great chance this week to change that. You don't need the thump in the run game this week. You're going to need Pat Queen to step up and deliver some boom this week. He brings the boom. He's got to be a Costco guy this week. And again, I have all the faith that you're going to see Baltimore level Patrick Queen sooner, not later, when it comes to his performance with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? The other inside linebackers are just damn impressive. Just damn impressive. Peyton Wilson, man, that dude is going to be a star. As long as his body doesn't betray him, as long as his a bit of undersized nature doesn't betray him, that dude is the Tasmanian devil, man. He is it. And the speed is damn impressive. He's just forcing himself onto the field more and more and more. This might be a big Roberts-Queen game because of the Chargers running the football, but I still think Wilson is just fine against the run, too. Despite Patrick Queen having some lowlights to start the year, despite him not giving you, the fans, the level of play that you want out of him, just a massively improved inside linebacking room. Just a massively improved position group. I mean, the middle of the field isn't easy pickings anymore, and that's where teams targeted over and over and over and over again against the Steelers. Can't do it anymore. There's a little bit of fear when it comes to those guys, and Queen's been beating coverage so far. Roberts isn't exactly the greatest cover guy, but they can eat up space now in the middle of that field. They have speed to make the quarterback think about it a little bit. Defensive backs or inside linebacker? Up for debate on what's the most improved part of that defense. Both bringing a lot of speed to the table now, too. And both, I think, the improvements to both, I think, are what pushes this defense over the edge and truly makes them that elite unit, top 3, top 2, maybe even number 1 in things like scoring defense, yards allowed, sacking the quarterback, turnovers, all that good stuff. Maybe they'll be right at the tippy top in all or most of those categories when we're sitting here doing this show in Week 17 going into the Steelers hosting a playoff game. That's right, because they win the AFC North. Patrick Queen spoke on Thursday. No, excuse me. Patrick Queen spoke Wednesday with the media. A lot of things to say, a lot of interesting insight to his start to the season with the Steelers. He also talks about the familiarity that he has with J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards being in Baltimore's backfield, being teammates with them for the past couple of seasons. Here's Patrick Queen talking with the media.
Does J.K. look like your old teammate?
Yeah, he definitely does. I love J.K. Still one of my best friends. Still talk to him to this day. He's just a great guy, great player, and I'm happy to see him getting back to himself. But as far as me, I won't shut that down. He's the leading rusher right now, so just being able to go out there and shut him down, give me bragging rights, and just help the team win.
What makes him such a challenge?
He got everything. He got vision, he got the speed, he got the burst. He's just all around good back. He can do every single thing on the field. And I think people might have underestimated him this year, knowing that he had the injuries and stuff, but he brings his little self to me.
I know they like to run the football, but what is it about Justin Herbert that makes him a challenge? And what have you seen as he's kind of matured in this league?
Yeah, he can make every single throw on the field. He'll take chances and get the ball into places that most quarterbacks can't. His arm strength, him being able to look guys off and still be able to deliver the ball on time and in crazy places. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks to me in this league when it comes to arm talent and being able to place the ball where he wants to. And with the offense, they don't try to overcomplicate it. It's basically sending the wide receivers where they need to be over the ball and try to get them the ball.
How much have the run games that you guys have faced the last 2 weeks kind of prepared you for this test?
I think they're all different. I think everybody has their own mix of things they like to do. And Giro, I think, has like one of the most complicated run games when it comes to stuff like that. So, it definitely prepared us. But this week, like I said, it's a day-by-day thing. We got to get better this week. We got to be able to handle stuff that we got this week.
I know you weren't here, but he rushed for 90 yards on the Steelers last time they played. How much do you have to account for Herbert's feet?
Yeah, I heard about that and stuff. Anytime we got a quarterback that can run, we got to have focus on that. And, whoever job that is at the time, that's why I said everybody has to do their own job and be great at doing their own job. Because if we let him do stuff like that, then they'll be able to get to the red zone. And, the run game is hard to stop in the red zone. So we just got to be all on our best jobs, do what we got to do, handle Herbert, handle JK, handle Gus, handle all those guys that they got being able to run the ball. Like I said, Giro has a complicated run game, so we got to be on the best game.
What are you looking forward to most about your first game at Acrisure as a Steeler regular season?
Yeah, I'm ready to hear Renegade in the fourth quarter. That's what I've been waiting on. But I just can't wait to get in front of the fans and just play our hearts out, play as hard as we can, give the fans the best game they can, and get a win in there.
When you're on the opposite side, what did you think when they played Renegade? Did it bother you, or did you even notice it was playing? Or
the first 2 times I didn't notice, and then Harv said something about it in the meeting. And I just remember he was like, we're going to be in a close game, this and that. We can get the towels, we're going to wave, we're going to feel it, we're going to make it our own song and stuff. So you definitely didn't notice it the first few years until he said something about it. But just once you realize what they're doing, and it's just an electric feeling, it's an electric place.
It feels like everybody has a Harbaugh story. Were you recruited by him, or did you get to know him at all when you were in high school trying to pick a college?
I did not. Never got recruited by Harbs. I honestly don't even know nothing much about him.
What have you learned about this team since joining the team and now after 2 games?
Everything I expected. A hard-nosed football team, great preparation, great in-game discipline. Everybody loves to do their job and do it at a high level. I think all the guys around this locker room gel well, mesh well. You got different guys in here that like different things and could do different things well, and everybody's just taking accountability. Owning up to mistakes, owning up to things that we got to do better. I think that's the biggest thing for us right now.
I think you guys can improve.
Everywhere. I think run game is a few little slips. I think pass game, me personally, just not trying to take people's head off every single play, trying to calm that down and get back to my old ways and stuff. I think everything can improve. Pass game, eyes, run game, hands, feet. Every single player on this team could get better at.
You feel like you're pressing a little bit, like personally, or what did you mean by that?
Not pressing at all. It's just, you get in a new environment and stuff. You try to just set the tone and stuff. But I think as far as those 2 tackles, that I'm always talking about, just got to settle down, just get back to my old ways.
We've heard a lot about how Justin has this quiet confidence and is pretty even. How have you kind of seen that? What are some moments where you realize, like, wow, this guy really is even keeled?
Yeah, I already knew it just from watching him from afar. I always supported Justin, always wanted him to be that guy. And eventually, Chicago moved on and we got him. So just being up here close and personal, like I said, I could be more proud of him. I seen him handle it extremely well. I think the things that he's doing, taking care of the ball, just not trying to force anything, just being himself. If he can't see it, taking off. I think everything he's doing is extremely well right now.
Steelers linebacker Patrick Queen talking to the media. Like I said, big game out of Patrick Queen. Going to have some splash out there against the Chargers. And I want to reiterate again, big Landon Roberts game as well. You're going to need the thumper against this Chargers offense. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to shove it down your throat. And Landon Roberts is a good answer to that problem. He's a big-time hitter. So I expect a big Landon Roberts game, and Cam Hayward's going to be a big factor as far as stopping the run for this LA Chargers team. He's one of my other big ballers. Yeah! So let's hear from Cam Hayward. Anytime the captain speaks, it's best to listen. Cam Hayward with the media on Thursday.
Cam, what have you liked so far about how you guys have defended the run, and what kind of challenge will the Chargers have?
I think we've had good assignment football. Guys staying in their gaps. Not a lot of MAs. But then guys getting off the blocks, so it's been really good for us. And then on the edges, you see our DBs tackle them really well. But then you look at this game, presents similar challenges. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They've been getting after it, and it's a 11-man job again. And so we have to make sure we rally to the ball, we get off blocks, and we fill and stop runs.
How much does this look like Baltimore to you?
There's similarities there, but besides the two running backs, it's a little different.
Cam, how was Herbert able to get 90 yards rushing on you guys last time? What did you learn from that tape?
We had wide open gaps where we weren't on all the same page. Too many times we ran upfield and then come back. A couple times just over pursued things and led to gaps for a young quarterback that was going to make us pay.
How excited are you guys to finally be at home, finally get to play in front of Steelers Nation?
Looking forward to it. It's been a while. What was our last game we played there? Yeah, it's been a minute, but I think it's been different. As a defense, we really got something we can hang our hat on with having the fans behind us, and so looking forward to having a great crowd and playing against another 2-0 team and a 5-star matchup.
Can Herbert still beat you with his legs? Is that something
Yeah.
you're still concerned even with this offense?
I think so. I think he moves around really good. It's mobile. But we can't give him anything. This time we got TJ makeup plan. Last time I forget what happened to TJ, but we were dealing with like COVID and flying over. I think we had gotten Ben approved like hours before that game, but I like to think we have a little bit more help this time.
Is he going to be as mobile with that ankle injury? Seems like
you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not in the Chargers locker room. I'm expecting the best to prepare for the best. So we'll see what happens.
Do you look forward to playing a team that is heavily invested in the O-line and plays multiple tight ends and has run the ball twice as much as it's thrown it?
It's fun. It's old school football. If you're worried about having your dime package ready this week, you picked the wrong week. But we're gonna have some big bodies on the field, and it should be fun to get after it.
Does having familiarity with Edwards and Dobbins, does that help at all?
It helps for Mike T to show us what they've done in the past. Say that.
Cam, as a defensive player going up against one of the top defenses, I think this is 1 and 2. Is there anything more to that matchup for you guys when you face an elite defense?
Yeah, I think there's a competitive side where, one, we're playing their offense, but two, we got to play their defense, and our offense has got to play their defense as well. So, we relish the opportunity to see who has the better defense on Sunday. They're probably doing the same thing, but you're looking for a good showing for both defenses.
And how much does it that your offense faces this defense every single day when preparing for an elite defense like the Chargers?
We try to lend ourselves to that, but I know they do things a little bit different over there, and so I think all we can do is say we iron sharpens iron in that case, and we compete against each other. We get better because of it, and we're gonna reap the benefits of it. Playing a good offense and defense.
Cam, given his last job, what would it be like facing Jim Harbaugh?
Well, he's a Michigan guy. I don't really like that, but I don't really have to say so in that. I think when opportunity presents itself, coaches step in, and he's a good coach. He just won a national championship, beat my Buckeyes, but other than that, don't really have to say so.
Let's pivot to the team you do like. Do you remember watching Justin at Ohio State?
Yeah,
quarterback for the Buckeyes.
Maybe right a couple times. Him and J.K. Dobbins, but watching Justin all those years, I was really excited when he entered the transfer portal and found out he was going to Ohio State. He's just been dynamic. I think the only reason you get C.J. Stroud is if you get Justin Fields. So, but we've been very fortunate to have some top tier quarterbacks.
Somebody would have told you back then, like, this guy's going to be your quarterback someday and starting for you at Acrisure Stadium. You've been like, Steelers don't usually end up with these kind of guys.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen like that. Someone told me we would have had Russ in here. You name it, these guys, we played against them, and they've had some success versus us. But having the quarterback room we have now, I wouldn't have thought in a million years we would have had that.
Steelers defensive captain Cam Hayward catching up with the media on Thursday. Look, they're going to want to run the ball, the Chargers. Greg Roman, he wants to run the ball. It's no secret. It's not going to be like the Lamar offense in Baltimore when Greg Roman was there, but it's the recipe for Harbaugh, at least early in his Chargers tenure. It's a recipe for Harbaugh everywhere, like I've said, is to run the football down your throat, to control the game that way. You got to cut the head off of that snake. Cam Hayward leads that charge as far as I'm concerned, and he's been playing really well this year. Quiet, I'd say, but looks like he's back to 100% and off to a really good start to the season. Been an anchor for that defensive line. Going to have to continue to be the case, and it's going to have to definitely be the case come Sunday against the Chargers. If they run the ball, if they have success on the ground, if J.K. Dobbins can touch you up for close to 195 yards. Gus Bus comes in and he doesn't run out of gas and he gets you for another 40 or so. And you're going to have a tough time winning this football game. I know that sounds like I'm really oversimplifying things, but I think that the game plan here is that simple. The Chargers have a quarterback that they can use. And no offense, Steelers Nation, I don't think they fear the offense that the Steelers is putting out there to think that they have to use him in this game. And B, I think that, Herbert's good enough, even with that bummy ankle, that he can get points on the board, but they're also going to want to protect that bummy ankle. They're going to want to make sure that Herbert doesn't get put into some strenuous situations where he has to dance his way out of a TJ Watt sack, where he has to escape Alex Highsmith. They want to keep it short, down, and distance. They want to make sure that he gets the ball out quick and stays relatively clean all game long. So if you can make them pass the ball, give them third and longs, force them into throwing, get a lead early if you're the offense for the defense to protect, make the Chargers play catch up, Watt can have a good day despite the tough matchup at tackle. Because, look, Joe Alt's great for a rookie and is going to be great, I think, even for more than just being a rookie. Beyond a rookie year, he'll be great. But it shouldn't be twisted that this is a test for Watt in any sense. This is Alt's test. This is time to see what the Chargers have with their first-round pick this year. How good really is Joe Alt? Here's the best pass rusher in the NFL. Here's the best defensive player in the NFL overall. What can you do with him? As long as Herbert has to pass and hold on the football for 2.5, 3 seconds, as long as they need to abandon the run somewhat, as long as the Steelers are stopping the run, Watt will get his against Alt. Watt will be able to impact the game. But the worry is they run the ball a lot, pass rushers get neutralized, and anytime Herbert does have to pass, it's just 1-2 drop, bang, it's out. All timing, never have to worry about Watt breathing down his neck. But that's only the case for the Chargers, again, if you can't stop the run. So Cam Hayward, defensive line, Patrick Queen chipping in, the linebackers of Landon Roberts. That is numero uno priority when it comes to getting a win, I think, at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday. Stopping that Chargers rush attack. And speaking of stopping that Chargers rush attack, this is an awesome feature that they do on The Drive every week. The Drive, by the way, now is on YouTube, Steelers Audio Network, but you can also watch Dale and Matt every single day live, 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. It's great stuff, but one feature that they're doing this year, beyond being on TV now, is having a Steelers player join weekly for a one-on-one interview. This week it was Montrevious Adams. Stopping the run is a big theme here on today's Steelers Standard Show, so we're going to listen in and play back that interview with Dale Matt and Montravius from yesterday's episode of The Drive. That's on the way. Tom Opferman in solo on the Steelers Standard on the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Ask Lloyd's of Munhall Renzi Insurance in McKeesport if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Spend the bye week on America's best beaches at the Tradewinds Resort on St. Pete Beach. Join host Rob King and Black and Gold legends Ernie Mills and Darren Perry in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida for a bye week at the beach getaway. The weekend includes Black and Gold themed get-togethers on the beach, autograph sessions, giveaways, and more. For more information on booking your package at the Tradewinds Resort on St. Pete Beach, visit byeweekatthebeach.com. Spend the bye week on America's best beaches at the Tradewinds Resort. Visit byeweekatthebeach.com.
Unplug and reconnect with a long fall weekend in the Laurel Highlands, a preferred vacation destination partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Embrace sweater weather and enjoy the stunning architecture of Frank Lloyd Wright, a scenic mountain drive, or a challenging bike trail. Think falling leaves, pumpkin festivals, s'mores by the campfire, and stops along an exciting craft beverage trail. Make lasting family memories with a 3 or 4 night stay in a cozy cabin. Start planning now at GoLaurelHighlands.com.
We got so much great content for you over at the Steelers Audio Network. Just so many good podcasts. But the driver of the bus, the Ben Roethlisberger of all of our shows at the Steelers Audio Network, it's the drive. I mean, I got to give them credit. I do. Their numbers are through the roof. Those two know more about football than I could ever dream of. Dale and Matt on the drive Monday through Fridays, 4 to 6 p.m. on TV now. You go to YouTube and watch them. I mean, it's a great show. And one feature that they're doing this year, which I'm a big fan of, is they are getting a Steeler for a one-on-one interview weekly before the game that week. And this week it was defensive tackle Montravius Adams. He's had a great start to his season. We talked about that defensive line to end the last segment and how big it's going to be for them to stop the run. He's going to be a huge part of that. He provides so much depth, allows effective play and fresh play from all of those guys on that defensive line. So before we get more into that depth and that D line, let's hear what Montravius had to say when he joined Dale and Matt on yesterday's drive.
How you doing, Montravius? Off to a good start this year, not just as the defense as a whole, but yourself as well. This defensive rotation up front, the defensive line, deep, talented, and man, you guys get after it.
Yeah, man, I think we got a great group collectively together, man. We work well together, and we're just trying to grow and keep continuing success.
You've obviously lined up against Zach Frazier many times. How's the Rook doing for himself? What's he like to go against?
Man, I think it's fun. You know, me being in a different position, being the older guy, I think he takes in all of the criticisms. I think he